but as a prosecutor, he's not as aggressive as I and some of my, former colleagues think he should be. If he had somebody that was aggressive, there would be much more action. However, when he says he's watching the hearings and that his January 6th prosecutors are watching the hearings, that's a big statement. I can tell you that right now.
So what happens if in the end there are indictments against some lower folks in the White House and people connected with Trump and the Trump campaign apparatus, but not Donald Trump? Because I still find it hard to believe that any Justice Department, even with perhaps, as you put it, a more aggressive prosecutor in charge, would actually have the spine to indict a former president of the United States. For whatever reason, I find that hard to believe that they would do that. So let's say, for the sake of our argument, they don't do that in this case. And then for the sake of the discussion, Donald Trump runs for president and wins again in 2024, then this whole thing is for naught.
I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. But I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic, and if they indict the individuals below Trump, individuals in the White House or in the campaign that cross that line, if they indict those folks and not Donald Trump, you're going to have the same public outcry that occurred in the summer of 1974 and into 75 when Gerald Ford pardoned Richard Nixon. You're going to have tremendous outcry that the law should be applied equally and the king is not above the law.
But I remember that outcry.
I do too.
And it didn't really change anything. I mean, Ford pardoned Nixon. Nixon went on to do actually a fairly lucrative career a little bit after that. So nothing really came of it.
But Gerald Ford wanted to end this nightmare, and let's be real here, okay? Compare what Richard Nixon did. He tried to hide a burglary by a bunch of buffoons, and he tried to hide that. Okay, there were other violations too, but compared to what we're alleging at the January 6th hearing, it's like alleging shoplifting from a 7-Eleven to robbing a bank. It just doesn't compare. And I am hopeful. I really am hopeful. I could be delusional, but I've been hard on Merrick Garland. And I'm now starting to give him a break here that he's taken it all in. He's going to get all this evidence from the January 6th committee, 1,000 interviews, 1,000. They haven't been turned over yet, to my knowledge. And that is going to shake the tree. And plus, these hearings are really presenting evidence that goes to what I said at the beginning. Donald Trump now has no good faith basis to argue he lacked a corrupt mind. We now have the opposite. There's plenty of evidence. His own Attorney General said you're basically breaking the law. And that's as good as it gets.
Gene Rossi, attorney, legal analyst, former federal prosecutor. More in depth to come, just minutes away.
It is 8:25 at KNX. Traffic every 10 minutes on the 5. Let's check in now with Brian Douglas.
Oh, we might have a little brush fire off the 105 freeway. So if you're on that 105 and you're right around Lakewood Boulevard, you'll be on the eastbound side. Might see some smoke. Fire department may need a lane there, depending on where the fire is. Your 105, by the way, looks fantastic. Both directions. Well, this time of the night, day would be your eastbound side, but you look wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Now, if you're on that 91, you are going to see slowing eastbound, heading into Boyden Park, starting at Orangethorpe. You've got some road work taking up the 2 left lanes. I can see this on our jam cam. That's Caltrans work. That's going to be for the better part of the evening. So if that's on your travels, you'll see a little slowing at 91. Hollywood Freeway still slow. Just as you pass Vermont, making your way down. Driving the San Fernando Valley looks pretty good. We had a stall working on the 405 North. Transition road to the 101 North might still be there, but I don't see that much slowing. Your drive's actually pretty good there. May Caliber Garage Store is your #1 choice for new garage stores. Right now, $200 off as well as $7.99 install. That includes free bottom tiers and Holloway. Caliber Garage Stores will beat any advertised price with hundreds to choose from. CaliberGarageStores.com, CaliberGarageStores.com. Next report 8:35 from the Toyota of Glendora.com Traffic Center. KNX News 97.1 FM.
Manatee. Healthy.
Swap it out for the apple.
Yeah.
Right now, though, the same Yahoo News and YouGov poll we talked about earlier had some interesting findings about the January 6th hearings. Fewer than 1 in 4 people say they watched last week's hearing. Nearly half polls say they haven't really followed at all. Mark Sandela, top political analyst with the University of California Center in Washington, D.C. Mark, thanks for being here. So what do you do with hearings that are supposed to be, the most important thing when it comes to democracy, according to some, and people just aren't really tuning in?
Hey, we're used to this in Washington, Washington, we think everything is important, and most people in town agree with us, and then the further west you get, forget it. By the time you're in California, you guys are talking about things like having a beer a day is good for you. This is sort of, it's not a surprise. That said, I don't think that these hearings were ever going to, 19 million people watched that first prime time hearing. That's not an insignificant number. It's funny that poll here side says 1 in 4 Americans said they watched. They're lying. It was much less than 1 in 4. I trust Nielsen more than I do people self-reporting. And it's more like 1 in 15 Americans were watching. It is about the 15th most watched show of the year, although it was the second highest non-sports show of the year. But I don't think the point was ever going to be to change minds. People's minds are made up on this. If Donald Trump, they had all these videos of his aides saying, yeah, they told him that this was ridiculous, his election fraud, and no, they did not think that anybody took it seriously. If they instead had a video of Donald Trump saying, yeah, I tried a coup. Of course I tried a coup. I want...
Funny, it's cow. What he said, just cow. I don't know why they teach English the way they do.